Greetings, I'm Mark with Unlimited Story, unlimited-story.com, a channel dedicated to writing, world building, marketing, and most importantly, getting things done. If you want to support this channel and the things that I do, just search Unlimited Story. Information is in the description below. You can do like a little reading thing. You know, that's what us authors like to do or like to have done for us. Right, so anyway, in this video, I am going to be reviewing Second Life by Gabrielle S. And here's the description. Jason wakes up dead. All he's got going for him in the afterlife is his not-so-grieving widow, a spirit guide who won't tell him much, and a house he's stuck haunting until he can figure out why and how. He died. Jason's in the prime of his second life and doesn't like it very much. He can't even figure out how to leave his house. Can he do what he needs to do to move on? Follow along as he tries to solve the puzzle of his death and life. Where tags here: death, reaper, humor, funny, dark, and suspense. And look at this cute little chibi reaper. All right, seriously, if this guy is not with Jason, I'm gonna be very bummed out because this guy looks amazing, and I would like to pretend that this series is kind of like chibi style. So if not, that's gonna be a bummer. So here we go. I have just finished reading the first 3 of Second Life, and I gotta say, this has been a very entertaining read and a nice change from the grimdark I just read that was ripping my soul apart. So this has been a nice little change. So I did find it, you know, I will say it was funny. Okay, like that was the first thing I thought. I was like, okay, this thing's got a funny tag, it's dead. I'm really curious how, I guess, entertaining this is gonna be. The sections were nicely done. They were short, they were punchy, they were just enjoyable to really read. I didn't have to think too much because, you know, I like to read for entertainment sometimes, and this definitely was it was entertaining. So what happened? Well, started out right away, Jason's dead, which is what I was expecting, okay? Because that's what they told me in the description. I was expecting some like chibi, remember, because, you know, that's what the graphic was. I did not get that. I did not get that feel at all. I definitely got the normal, hey, in my mind, you're picturing a person. Maybe it was a little bit animated style because his spiritual guide, Bert, is, I don't know. I imagine him like they say he's like a tiny bear, but he's, to me, he's like a creature from Monsters, Inc. Like, what was it? Sully, who's the big one, just make him smaller. That's basically what I imagine him like now. So, Jason's dead. He has no clue, and his spiritual guide is like, this is my first time helping somebody who died. Apparently they have teachers or apprentices, or I don't know. He's helping them. Jason's like a Padawan, and Bert's supposed to be a Jedi Knight or something like that, but definitely ain't doing a great job. He's like, yeah, I really don't want to answer your questions. I'm like, why do you have this job? Are you broke? Apparently there's some type of currency, but they're not explaining it yet. So here's what kind of happens. He tries, like, he's a ghost, right? So he tries touching himself, but he's like, yeah, but I don't have a face. But at the same time, it's like, he doesn't really have a hand either. So I guess he doesn't see himself. That's not fully explained, and I guess it's not a big deal. So anyway, Bert's like teleporting him around. He goes back and visits his wife, who's hooking up with another guy. This is amazing. Okay, so I love this part because okay. He's hooking up with this guy, his wife, who's not grieving, is definitely hooking up with this guy. His name is Mark, but he's a Mark with a C. And they even say right here, it's not even a real Mark because he's a C. And you know what? Props to you, dude. Mark's with a C. I don't count him either. So he drinks IPAs. I don't really care about that. So it was really comical how this dead guy is like watching his wife hook up with this Mark with a C, and he's just sitting there because he can't do anything. He's just like, I hate you so much. I hate you so much. And so you know, you feel bad for the guy, but at the same time you're like, it's done in a comical way that was fully enjoyable. So Jason is stuck in this house with his wife and Mark, and he's just stuck there. And apparently there's this mechanic where he's going to start fading. He'll turn to like a shade, I guess is what they're calling him. But basically the ghost that's stuck there and haunting is like a ghosty zombie. And Well, he doesn't find that out because Bert just basically bails on him. He's like, all right, so you're in this house. You had your beer that I paid for. You can figure it out. Oh, he gave him a ghosty pamphlet. Oh, man. Really, this story is a great read just for the funny stuff. Like, I work in marketing, so I work on brochures and stuff. I just imagined this like ghostly pamphlet. And they even said like, hey, basically there was like Shutterstock imagery on there of a dude looking off in the distance. So it's just very, very comical. So Jason spends his time just chilling out in the house and being miserable and like sitting in his game room looking at his whiskey. He doesn't drink. He doesn't bother to read the pamphlet, which is, you know, like I feel like that's what you should be doing if you're sitting around all day. But instead, what he does is he kind of just fumes. Like while Mark is sleeping, he sits on top of him, and I guess he tries to give him nightmares. And then as soon as like his eyes open, he like disappears. Like a second later, we like see him, and Mark freaks out or something like that. The cats also do see him. Apparently, they follow him around, and the cats like him way more than Mark. Apparently, Mark is a terrible person, which makes sense. He's got a C at the end of his name. So, what else happens? So we're at the end of section 2, somewhere in section 3 now, and Bert shows up. He's like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "How do you think it's going?" He's like, "Oh, well, you know, you better get your crap together, otherwise you're going to start fading." He's like, "Oh, really? That would have been useful to know. Maybe you could just have informed me of that before I started just, you know, living a horrible life." So he takes him to another bar. Apparently there's a bunch of afterlife bars, and this one's like a Harley Davidson one. You know, everyone's got leather and there's flames and all kinds of stuff. There's a bartender named Mindy. Yep, Mindy, who's really into young ghosts, like freshly dead guys. So apparently she wants to hook up with them. Maybe. I don't know how these people are hooking up either. This ghost form they have, they're like Sully tiny bear thing that they are. Apparently that's what's inside of us all the time. So this corporeal form inside houses a Sully ghost bear thing. So whatever the case, Bert takes Jason. They meet up with this guy named Frank, and Frank is like a bookie of sorts. Like he did numbers, and basically by the end of episode 3, they had some drinks, they gambled a bit, and Frank's like, dude, you things aren't looking good for you right now. Which if I was Jason, I'd be like, yeah, thanks, Bert. You've been really great helping me, whatever they're supposed to do. My understanding is essentially they're supposed to move on with their life and go on to maybe something else, but they're stuck, which makes me question why Bert's still there and all these other people, but I don't really know. So that is my explanation and thoughts overall of Second Life. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. There's just funny stuff happening throughout this. And Bert, he clearly, the way he communicates is just like, I super don't care about this, which again makes me question why he's even involved. And Jason is very, very relatable. Like, I completely understand his character. Like, what he does just makes a ton of sense. It was a real smooth read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So that is my wrap on Second Life. If you enjoyed this kind of stuff, you know, please consider subscribing or at least watching another one of my videos that YouTube recommends. If you would like to have your story reviewed, you know, I have information in the description below to my website. There's a Discord, just hop on there. There's a reading request channel, you just do it. Oh, and I forgot, because I've been forgetting terribly. I guess my age is starting to mess with me. My one sentence, which I need to get back on top of this, so please, like, you can yell at me in the comments, just please remind me. I need to start remembering this. My one sentence explainer of this is, dude dies, comes back to life to find his wife hooking up hard, and needs to move on by figuring out why he's dead. Boom. There we go. So thank you very much. Peace.